Hello friends and potential friends. Well, it's Monday morning and the water is flowing. Today is the first of our 3 days of irrigation on this property. This particular ditch is the one that feeds the ditch that runs along the garage and goes to the back of the property. And it's getting filled up pretty quick. Back up here, there's a pipe that leads across the driveway and comes out here and runs along the front of the property. And that one is getting filled up pretty quick. Let's take a walk back and I'll show you how I'm dealing with the water today. Back over here in front of, or past the house, the ditch just keeps on going across the front of the property. As you can see, I've got a little sump pump in there. I'm sucking water out of the ditch and running it into these pipes. I move these pipes around various times and get the water flowing through them. And most of these pipes have got little openings on the sides that let a little bit of the water come out. So that way I can spread that water across the entire front of the lawn. Can't see it yet, but it's because it hasn't been running for very long, but it won't be very long before this grass starts getting wet everywhere. Well, everywhere except right up by the house. A lot of people use flood irrigation, where they basically block off the ditch and let all the water flood out onto their property. But I'm not using that here because when I do that, we tend to get water in the basement of the house, and I don't want that. As you can see, the water does run all the way down through the pipes and comes out here at the end. And as you can't really see, this land is all sloped so that it slopes away from the house and towards the back of the property. So over the next couple of days, this water will be spreading across most of this yard and watering all of the grass out here, which I just cut yesterday because I had to get it cut and raked before I could run the water out here. Otherwise it'd be another week before I could do any of that, and this stuff grows fast. And I see in the distance there's a little bit of water pooled up back there under the trees. That actually came across from my neighbor's property because he was running the irrigation on his property yesterday. So we get a little bit of the benefit of that when he's irrigating. But that is how the front of the property is operating. Now after a couple of days of this, basically we have 6 shares in the water system because of the size of the property. And that means I can run this water 24 hours a day for 3 days starting Monday. So I could let it run all night if I want to, but I generally shut it down at night because I have to come out and check that sump pump every couple hours to make sure it's not getting clogged up. And I don't want to be doing that all night. But that's the front property. How we're irrigating up here. I'll run this across like I have it now for a couple of days. And then for the 3rd day, I'll take it and run it along here, aimed basically at the chicken house back there, and that will help to get the bottom part of the lawn watered. You can see there's some brown spots back there. I've been running a sprinkler, started last week, trying to get some of that to green up. But by doing this for 3 days, basically I'm keeping all of this lawn watered and getting some water back into the brown areas you see behind the rose bushes back there. Now that's not getting flooded because I don't have pipes long enough to reach back there, and I'm not really concerned about that right at the moment. I mainly just want to keep this front part looking good. But that's the front part of the yard. Let's go see what the ditch along the garage is doing. Well, before I go look at the garage, I figured I'd walk over here to the north end of the property. My neighbor's been running the irrigation on his property yesterday. Still got some of it running today, which doesn't really take away from me at all. It actually adds to our irrigation because, as you can see, I'm getting water off of his property over here under these trees. We do have a few fruit trees that were planted here when we bought the place. They get too much shade, and I'm not sure if they're going to survive or not, but they're definitely getting watered. And if I can walk down this way without getting my feet soaked, the water comes out into under the trees pretty good. Reaches out towards the mulberry, these other fruit trees. And this is the place that I really wanted to get mowed yesterday. So I'm glad that I did, because today it's all wet. And I wouldn't want to bring the tractor in here. So this whole section basically gets watered from my neighbor's property. And so I don't have to do much of anything to try to get it watered. And now we're back towards the fence where the pasture starts. Now we'll go over and take a look at what's going on next to the garage. And here's the start of the ditch next to the garage. Runs in pipes to get back to here. There's the corner of the garage. And as you can see, it has spread out and filled in all of that trenching I did this week. I'll probably be doing more ditch digging before long, trying to keep this flowing. There's plenty of water coming through here, and it's heading back to the back pasture. So let's walk back there and see what we can see. Well, here we are in the garden area, and there's already a little bit of water seeping into the garden area. With any luck, I might get to level some more of this out today, if the weather will hold up for me. I'd like to at least be able to get a couple of those raised beds put together here soon. So it looks like I'm actually trying to do some gardening. But right now it's all about water. As you can see, the ditch is filled up to the top, overflowing a little bit here and there, and running on back into the pasture. And I might have to get out there and clean out some of the side trenching a little bit to try to get some of that water out into the pasture itself a little bit more. For now, let's walk back, see what we can see. Back in the pasture, we got a little bit of water seeping out into this part, basically coming over the banks. So we've got quite a bit of green out here. And here's one of the side cutoffs that's getting quite a bit of water and sending it out here. And that's what makes the green. And my feet are already getting a little wet. But it runs out here pretty good. Nothing I can complain about here. But as you might see ahead, we got some brown running out up there. Here's another side passage. It does have some water running through it, so it's getting out into the pasture a little bit over here. But right down here, I think I need to do something to get more water running out this way, because I'd like to get some of that brown out there turned into green. So I'm going to have to work on this a little bit. There is a piece of cloth over here to try to redirect the water some, and it is redirecting some of the water. That one actually heads all the way across to that tree. And that's on the other side of the property. There are brown spots out there in the middle that stand to use, get some more water. You see all the cows are over next door under the trees. And there's one more little place right here where there is a trench, but it doesn't have any water in it. So that's probably what I'm going to have to work on. See about getting some water to flow off in that trench, which means putting a barricade right about there. That would cause it to flood up, to build up here like it's doing right there, and then run down this trench out into that brown spot. So that may be on the agenda for today or tomorrow. I'm going to have to start collecting some of them orange tarps like you see over there in my neighbor's property. Those are the things they use to redirect the water. There's a little bit of one right here making this little waterfall, but that's about the only one I've got out here. All of this ground needs more water on it. That would make the ground happy, make the cows happy, make us happy. So I'm going to have to work on this a little bit. It's all about water. Welcome to Idaho's Magic Valley. We call it a valley because there's mountains around the edges. But to be honest, we're almost at 4,000 feet above sea level. So this is really a high desert. If it wasn't for the irrigation systems they've put in place here, this whole place would be rocks and sagebrush and not much of anything else. But with the irrigation, they grow corn, sugar beets, a lot of different things around this area. And I want to do my part, keep the place magic too. And that means getting rid of some more of this brown spot. Well, let's see what this does. I put the top of a 55-gallon drum across the creek right here. So it's backing up. I'm just down from that little waterfall, which is causing it to come out across the property towards the tree. And I'm hoping that I can get some water flowing right out this way into the brown area. But it's filling up fast right here. With any luck, it might do what I want it to do. We shall see. I'm slowly learning a little bit more about how things work out here. If I can get any of this out here to turn green, that would be nice. Well, it's been a few hours since I was out here playing. This little side chute was already running, and that one goes all the way across the property. But I added a little blockade right there, and now I have water running out into the brown part of the property. And so far looks like it's running out here 30 or 40 feet. So I've actually accomplished something. Would be nice to accomplish more, but at least it's something. It'll start to green up this corner here a little bit probably. Not only that, right over here a little ways, I added another barricade. Not as good as that last one, but it is bringing just a little bit of water out into the brown dead part of the pasture. So it's not a lot, but it is a start. I'll see you next time.